Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Slay to Success Talk Show. My name is Rochelle Slay Queen Hemingway, CEO and founder of Slay to Success. And tonight, y'all, I have a special guest. Okay, so before we get started, let me just go through the spiel, as you know. All right. First of all, when you come here on the show, we are bringing in men and women, and we're highlighting them on purpose because they are living their life looking at the slave philosophies to positively impact the world. And so, slay means to kill it, to dominate it, and to nail it, to be on point, to impress greatly, to dream big and work hard until you own it. It is also an acronym that stands for life and leadership philosophies that anyone can use. And particularly, I've been able to use these philosophies and they have been highly successful for me. So I always share with you all: S, stay ready, be ready. L, lead out loud. A sense of family, a sense of community. And Y, you are built to last. So as you are coming on in, let me know who you are. Okay, Chevy, how you doing? And where you're streaming in from. Let us know how you feeling. All right, because guess what? Let's go. Okay, Keith is here. He is in the building. He talking about let's do this, and that's what we doing, Keith. So thank you so much for both of you being here live with us tonight, because this right here is going to be so good, y'all. It's gonna be so good. I just saved myself. Okay, so if you haven't already, sent this out to your friends, your loved ones, whoever you think will need to be part of this conversation. I'm gonna need you to share, and keep sharing. Okay, because when we come up in here in this space, there are some individuals that will need to have, this conversation, some topics of concern, maybe to get them inspired and motivated to get after whatever they're trying to get after. So I'm here for it, y'all. We're here for it. And so I am a professional keynote speaker, a personal brand expert, image consultant, and an author of several books, y'all. I can't keep up, but I'm part of books and books and books. And I love, love, love being an author, as well as United States Air Force veteran. 30 years, y'all. As you know, there's a lot of information, stories, experiences that I share with you all. So thank you so much for being here. So before we get into anything, let me just share with you who I have here with me. Okay, y'all, I'm just telling you right now. I met Donnell Johns probably a few years back, and he is all that in a bag of chips. Okay. And so he is an Army veteran, okay, and he served in the Army for 26 years, and he retired as a command sergeant major. Okay, so if y'all don't know these ranks, all right, we're gonna help you out as we get started in the conversation. But he is now the founder and CEO of Veterans Growing America. If you are not in the loop with Veterans Growing America, I'm gonna need you to go on LinkedIn, Facebook, and connect like right now. He has an unwavering commitment to supporting military connected small businesses. He serves as a community builder and connector, and he is bridging the gap, y'all, between veterans and valuable business education and employment resources. He is leveraging his extensive 26 years of military service and leadership experience, and he ignites a passion, purpose, and prosperity of these businesses, resulting in the success of numerous organizations. Now, as the founder, y'all, of Veterans Growing America, he has successfully supported over 1,126 military connected business owners. And I am most positive that is not the number. It is way more than that. He is essentially the business incubator. And he has this forum where I was part of the opening ceremony at the Clarksburg, Maryland Premium Outlets on Friday night. There are 2 locations. And I have also been one of the persons that have sold my goods at the Woodbridge, Virginia location that he has started as well. So please put your hands together for my friend, Army veteran, Command Sergeant Major, Donnell Johns.
I don't know who that got at it.
You don't know who that is?
Thank you. Thank you. I
You
love
know,
that.
you got to give the flowers, while you're still able to receive them, right? And so we've got lots of folks in here that are just ready. Glenroy, thank you so much for being here live with us tonight as well. I hope you and the fam are doing well. But yeah, so Donnell, I'm just saying, from our first meeting
Mm-hmm.
that we had, and I volunteered to be part of an event that you put on at Fort Meade in here, y'all, in a DMV, and it's probably like 20 minutes from my house. I have just been highly impressed with what you are doing. So, can you just give the audience a little bit about, who you are, what's going on, and we'll just have a conversation. Wherever
No.
you go, I'm going.
Hey, so wow, who am I?
Mhm.
I'm a dad.
Mhm.
I'm a husband.
Yeah.
I'm a public servant. I
Yeah.
sit on the Veterans Commission. Um, I retired from the military, like you said, with 26 years of service, and I love my community, and I think the world of those that have served, and I think the world should think the world of what we do, and
Yeah.
I really have a passion for bringing the best out of people like we did when we served, and after I retired, I knew I wanted to start a business. I knew I couldn't really work for someone in the capacity that they wanted me to, especially being, a command sergeant major and being able to shape an organization
Mhm.
and lead them to success. And I'm like, I wonder if I'll be able to do that, for businesses. So I started a leadership consulting firm as soon as I got out of the military. And I think most of us do that. We start some form of leadership, training and consulting.
Yeah.
And I wrote this business plan, and my business plan said, I'm gonna make about $30,000 a month,
Yeah.
you know, right out the gate. And it said I was gonna do all of these amazing things, and I actually got my first client, after I retired. Um, Probably it took me probably about an hour to get my first client, and
Mm.
they paid me right there on the spot. I was like, oh man, this is it.
Right.
It had some commas in it and everything.
Right.
I was excited. I said, I'm gonna take this thing out the gate and I'm gonna smash entrepreneurship.
Mhm.
And then it took me about a year to get my next client. I said,
Yeah.
oh, this is painful. Entrepreneurship is hard.
It's hard.
you know, uh, and during that time frame, I thought that um, I didn't know who to trust. I didn't know
Yeah.
what resources were out there. I didn't know. I took the boots to business class, when I retired from the military. And, writing a business plan and all of that type of stuff was the easy part. But really
Right.
starting a business, you know, you can get a LLC in an hour. You can sign up and get all of this stuff done. But how do you get clients? And then who do you trust in order to help you with your business?
Yeah.
And that gave me the idea of creating a community of entrepreneurs where we can work together and really show the world, our greatness. Um, and so I decided to, start Veterans Growing America. At the time, it was Veterans Grow Virginia. That's what we started
Mhm.
out as,
Ah.
and it was going to be local. And we did our first event at Girani Coffee House in uh, where was it at? It was in Manassas.
Uh-huh.
That first event was amazing. We had 17 veteran and military spouse entrepreneurs at that event, and over 1,000 people showed up to it, and it was
Wow.
crazy. All of these veterans came together, and I was like, "This is something amazing." Shortly after that, the pandemic hit us,
Mm.
and so we were doing in-person events, and I'm like, "How do we continue this during the pandemic?" And so what we did is we partnered with other organizations, and we did it online. And we did the event online, and it was so cool because we had 30 veteran and military spouses throughout the United States, and then from those 30 we had about 300 and some people show up to that event because they were at home and they went online and were shopping with us.
Wow.
And then from there, I met Stephanie from the Rosie Network, and um, she had access to the Army and Air Force Exchange. And the Army and Air Force Exchange allowed us to do veteran business expos at their location. And so we started doing veteran business expos. We went to North Carolina, South Carolina, all throughout the DMV. We went to Texas. We went to Florida, doing veteran business expos all throughout the United States. And I was like, I really wanted to do a veteran business expo locally back in the city where America had access to us, right?
Right.
I wanted to do it in a place where people can shop with us, because people say thank you for your service all the time. And I'm like, I can't spend that. I can't do nothing with that.
Mhm,
How about you
mhm.
show me thank you for your service through supporting my business and supporting, veteran owned businesses. And I'm like, so let's do it. I contacted Stonebridge to rent their street and do a veteran business expo in front of their street. And,
Ah,
and that's how we ended up in the store, because they wouldn't allow me to rent the street. They said they already had a contract with another organization. And so they said, you know what? We have an empty building right here. You can rent this out. And they only
mm,
gave it to us for 3 months. And when I say gave it, they're renting it. We're renting the space, but we were there for 3 months. And then 3 months came up and they're like, we'll extend you for another 3 months.
ah,
And they kept on extending us. And I'm like, well, why don't we do something long term? And then so that's how we ended up there for 3 years now, which is amazing. It blew my mind that we have and had a store. And now we have our second location.
yeah. I'm again, first of all, I'm going to welcome all the folks in, okay? Because we got some other folks that came in, and I love, love, love. Mosaic Sparks is here, okay? So thank you so much for being with us tonight. Charlene just dropped in, okay? And she's always, here as supporting us as well.
Hey,
And the
Charlene.
comment, yeah, they're like, folks are just coming in. And so Charlene said, dope, awesome way to lean into those opportunities. Mosaic Sparks also said, kudos to you for starting a great initiative. I've got Kim in the building. Hey, Kim, welcome on in, Queen. She was my supervisor back in the day when I was in Turkey. And so I absolutely love that you all are here live with us. Chevy says, amazing. Congratulations and congratulations. So I'm going to walk us back a little bit because we have had some conversations prior, and because of what you said at the beginning. Oh, Dr. X is in the building. Let's
Let's
grow.
grow. Let's grow,
Let's,
Dr. X.
Dr. X, he said, I'm showing up
Dr.
tonight.
X is in the store, y'all.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm telling you, as we have, led, like you said, we have led teams on top of teams in different places and so forth. And using our extensive experiences
Mm-hmm.
and our skill set, because the narrative, okay, so you talked about this on Friday night at the opening ceremony, the narrative of a veteran.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, share with them what you were sharing with us on Friday night of what people seem to have sometimes about veterans.
So every time I hear about veterans, they use these three words: PTSD, suicide, and homelessness. And my thought process is those are human conditions, not veteran conditions.
Mm,
And if we see ourselves as humans and that we go through stuff, or the way that I say it is we grow through stuff, because as a human, you're going to go through things. You're going to go through ups and downs like a heartbeat.
mhm,
And our thought and our mindset will dictate our success. And so if we're thinking, PTSD, suicide, and homelessness, we will end up in one of those categories.
yeah.
Instead of that, I think, of our community as leaders, as heroes, as entrepreneurs, and as human beings.
Mm,
And if you think of yourself as a leader, you will become a leader. And
Mm,
so we need to make sure that our people know and understand that they have qualities unlike anyone else. And we went through a lot of stuff while we served, and we can use the things that we learned during service to be able to grow within our community. The
right.
biggest issue is that we're disconnected, from our military service. So we don't have individuals like us around us. And so if we build communities of veterans where we can come together and grow, um, that's where our success will come. And then that's why I built the community, that we have, today, because entrepreneurship, we learned everything that we need to know in the military about entrepreneurship.
Oh, yeah.
If we look at the way and the structure of the military and the way and the structure of businesses, it's exactly the same. And so we run companies.
Mm-hmm.
We just have to look at money a little bit different. We just have to make sure that we make money instead of at the end of the year spend all of the money.
You're right. You're right about that, because it is. There's extra expenses you don't calculate, because we were given things when we were in the
Mhm.
military. You got the uniform, you got the shelter over your head, you've got all these medical benefits, and other things that you don't see, like, from a tangible aspect. And so you
Mhm.
have to account for that in dollars when you are an entrepreneur. And I think that's the mindset, right? Is the money shift. You have to think about that. You're in business to make money. It's not for you to give everything away and not see the fruits of your labor. um and the other thing that I appreciate, well, what you're doing is really help entrepreneurs, military connected entrepreneurs, to understand business,
Mhm.
right? And so, what kind of advice would you share with someone who's starting out, maybe transitioning, and they're looking to go into business? And so, what kind of advice would you give someone who's starting out?
So first thing that I would tell them to do is really research the product or service that they want to sell. They need to know the insides and outs of it. They need to really understand uh, the value that it brings,
Mm-hmm.
um, the individual that they're selling it to, and then also the pain points of it. Right? What?
Mm-hmm.
Why would someone want what you have to offer? What will happen if they don't get what you have to offer? How does it add value to their lives? How do you create a story behind your product? And
Mm-hmm.
then, last but not least, this is something that you have to be passionate about, because you're going to go through a lot of no's. You
Mm-hmm.
got to be okay with receiving those no's and then continuing to move forward with a yes. I don't know how many people told me, when I was in business, no. If I would have told, if I would have stopped at no, I would have never had the first location that we've had. I would have never had the second location. Um, we've helped over thousands of entrepreneurs grow, and the way that happens is we build community behind it, because business works the same on the inside, but the product is different on the outside. And so if you understand the basics of business, you
Mm-hmm.
can actually start any type of business and make sure that product meets the value of what you're trying to offer your customer.
Yeah. Um, and I think that's sound advice. I've got a comment from Glenroy, actually. I love when he shows up, because he's always adding some value here. He says, an active mind that is willing to learn complex processes and simplify those processes in such a way that those that are in the midst of building and sustaining businesses allow for an ironclad consulting. As veterans, we know how to activate processes and how to implement discipline within those processes. So great stuff, Donnell. And you know what? It's the word discipline always stands out for me,
Mm-hmm.
because we were conditioned, if you will, to have the discipline to follow through, right? Once we start something, 9 out of 10 times, I wouldn't say everybody, was doing all the things, but I would say that we did lean on our discipline, because we had a routine on how we did things in the processes. the standards of operations, if you will, were in play. So I truly believe that every veteran can be an entrepreneur, you know? So it just requires us to really think about, like you said, who's our audience, what are the pain points, what can we solve, what are we passionate about, you know what I mean? And we
Mhm.
just got to continue to show up.
It's I think, Glenroy was spot on. It's a process. Everything is a process. If you think about McDonald's, they run their whole operation off of a process. That's why the burgers taste the same no matter what McDonald's you go to. And so
Mm-hmm.
business is uh, about systems and processes. Once you identify the system and the process that works for your business, and you continue that over and over again, and don't give up, you'll be successful. Like you said, be disciplined. So that's good stuff, Glenroy.
Yeah. So, what are the characteristics? What are the characteristics that you find about yourself that are so uh easy for you to do in your business, that like showing up the way that you do? What are the highlights? What are your top characteristics?
For me, I have a passion for people,
Mm,
and I retired as a command sergeant major, but CSM standard for something different for me,
mm.
and it stood for customer service manager.
Ah,
And I believe that if you take care of one customer at a time and make sure that they get the value, they get the value that you're trying to put out, there's a win. People need to really understand, if you just take care of your people, um, they'll support you. And so that's one of the characteristics that that's valuable to me, is really just having a passion for people. Also, never give up, right?
mm-hmm.
I begin with the end in mind. What am I trying to accomplish? And then I think of not how, but who. Who in my ecosystem can help me achieve whatever goal that I'm trying to accomplish?
Right.
There's somebody within my network that knows how to do something better than me,
Yeah.
and they love to do that. And how can we collaborate in order to make it happen?
Yeah.
Veterans Growing America, all we are is a group of individuals that are collaborating to achieve business success. And
Mm-hmm.
so, how do we collaborate in order to achieve success where it's a win-win? It's a triple win. That's what I call it, where not only you win, but we win, and our customer wins at the same time, and nobody loses, and they will continue
Yeah.
to come back.
Yeah.
Um, it's really not about a dollar for me. It's about making sure that I take care of and support every last person. If I made it about a dollar, I wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
The money uh, will come, and it
Mm-hmm.
is coming, but at the same time, that's not what I'm focused on. I do measure every dollar,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do sure that the dollars are going to the right place.
Yeah.
It's not always about the dollar.
That's right. Yeah, I absolutely am firsthand, y'all. I'm a firsthand recipient of how the community has grown, because I set up my booth at the Woodbridge, Virginia location. And it was when I started, and I didn't know really what was happening, what was going on. I was like, let me just get these books out here. And it was more than just the book, right? It was seeing all of what was happening behind the scenes and networking. I've been able to collaborate with so many other
Mhm.
veteran growing America community builders over the past few years. And you will start to see how your business starts to thrive, because you all collectively are helping each other to achieve the goals. And so it's like the ripple effect that you have created. You know, I wouldn't have met Dr. X if I wouldn't have gone to your event, or others that I have. I actually collaborate with the Lady Vet,
Mhm.
so me and Bethany have done work together. So it does help when you have a community. Now we got a lot of comments now.
I see. I see.
First of all, Kim, she says, if we could be paid for the no's we have received, some of us would be millionaires.
Well, can I say something about that?
Yes, please.
Because that no, I was a recruiter, so I looked at no as numerous opportunities to figure out how I can get to a yes. So
Mm,
if you look at no's a little bit different, you can learn from the no.
yeah,
That's business education right there. Once you understand that no doesn't mean, it just means not right now.
right.
And if you understand it's not right now, and that person continues to watch, you know how many people have told me, "Hey, I'm gonna come do business with you," and now
Mm-hmm.
they doing business with me, but they were just
Mm-hmm.
waiting on the sideline to see, is this
Yep,
guy for real, right?
that's right. That's right.
You know, because people are set in their ways, and
Mhm.
they're stuck with the products that they like, and
Yeah.
then when they see something new, they're like, "Okay, what is this? Is it real?" You know what I mean?
Oh
And
yeah,
so,
I know.
and then all of a sudden, they're like, oh man, let me join, let me be a part of this. There's so many people that told me, man, I've been following you for years, but now I'm gonna jump right in.
Yeah,
Like, okay. I
yeah,
It doesn't hurt my feelings. It's about time. That's what I say, it's about time.
right.
Now for
Because you
sure.
know what? People, like you said, people are waiting to see, and I say they're waiting for two things. Either to see, that you go down, and it's like, oh, that was just a blip in time, right? And you were
Mhm.
just setting something up. Or to see kind of like how does this journey look like, and then they're willing to get on the journey and they're willing to be part of the experience. So it's showing up. I really just think it's about just continuing to show up in that. Glenroy has a comment about the nose too. He says the no is just a doorway that we have to walk through in order to make a way into the rooms that are the definite and sustained yeses.
Facts.
So that's facts for sure. And then we've got Charlene who says, absolutely, systems and processes are useless if they cannot be followed, and we are held accountable for enforcing them. Yeah. And these are the rules, systems, processes that we put into play, right? And so sometimes we don't even follow through with what we say we want to be doing. And it gets us to the goals and it helps to achieve that. Now, Chevy says she loves because she has a passion for people as well. Um, and so I think when we like focus on the passion for, whatever it is, it'll come. Glenn
Mhm.
Roy is also correct. He says he's correct, building networks to collaborate and perform appreciative studies on what our peers are doing is important.
You could
Yeah.
also learn from other people's mistakes. That's also good, with having a network, because they can be like, hey, I went down that road. It's a dead end.
Yeah. Like you don't want to do that at all, you know? So I'm just curious. You talk about people like watching you. Have you gotten flack from anyone?
Of course, of course, of course.
Let's talk
But
about that.
yeah, I mean,
So-
there's so many people. It's a trip because I remember when I first brought this idea up, I was at a state event and I wanted to use the location at the state, and they told me, no, you can't use this place because I don't think it's a good idea. Nobody wants to buy cupcakes and stuff from military spouses. I was like, oh, for real? They don't know about Georgetown Cupcake being a multi-billion-dollar business. You know what I mean? But I mean, I've received so many no's. Even when I was trying to get the location, at Stonebridge, in front of the store, they told me no. And when they told me no, here's the funny part is they told me no because I didn't have any people initially. And then I went back to them 2 years later and asked the question again, and they told me no. And then I asked them, well, what else can you do for me? And then
Mhm,
that's how we end up with the store. And so
mhm.
sometimes the opportunity that you're looking for may not be the right opportunity for you. And
Yeah,
other doors and opportunities will open up if you just ask. You know,
yeah,
the question, what else can you do for me? And shutting up and listening allowed us to be in this current space.
Right.
So that's one of the things that, that I went through as far as No is concerned. And then, as we grew, other organizations start to take notice of what we're doing. And now we have a second location through Simon Malls, and they wanted us to open up 3 locations at the same time. I'm like, hold up.
Who managing all this?
Yeah, I was like, hold up, we got to create some new systems and processes
Right.
to run 3 locations at the same time. But the cool part about being within the veteran community and having a store full of veteran entrepreneurs is we could figure out a way for us all to collaborate on a store together.
That's right. Yeah. And y'all, we're not just talking about, like you mentioned cupcakes being in the store. I'm talking about, you've got entrepreneurs who are selling colognes, body oils, body creams, clothes, books, jewelry. You've got a number of veteran entrepreneurs with different, works, if you will, pictures, paintings. So this is definitely an option. It's an option when you go and you're shopping out of these different places. Now you got 2 locations, and I'm telling you, these are not locations like tucked away. These are in the midst of like Old Navy and Saks Fifth Avenue, right?
Yeah. You know what's cool about our location, which blows my mind, right, is my next door neighbor in Woodbridge is DSW.
Oh.
And then the right across the street from it is the Apple store, and right across the street from that is Barnes and Noble. So they've already done their homework to know that the location where I am, people can spend money in those locations.
That's right.
And then at our Clarksburg location, we have Ferragamo. We got Tory Burch. We got Hugo Boss. We have Champs, Lacoste. The store that we're actually in used to be a Gucci store. So I said, "Oh, they set me up for success.
If they sure did.
If Gucci could be right here,
right?
Be right here."
And I also noticed one thing too. When we were at the opening, there's a much different vibe that you have from the Woodbridge to the Stone, or to the Clarksburg. There's a different vibe there, right? Was that done on purpose?
Yes. So for the first location, it was a pop-up market initially, and then we turned the pop-up market to a pop-up and then retail. And what we found is that we've had individuals that their business is good enough to go on the shelves at our store where people will come over and over again to shop with them.
Right.
So what we wanted to do is we wanted to provide a space for them to grow even more because people love their products.
Right.
And we also, being in a store every day is taxing. And so we wanted to provide a space where they can showcase their products and or services and not have to be there all the time. They can replenish it, and then they can also come and be there during the shopping hours where they can tell people about their products.
Right.
So we wanted to build a space where individuals can grow. With our new platform that we have online coming here within the next week or so, people will also be able to shop their products online. So we're not going to be Veterans Grow Woodbridge and Veterans Growing Clarksburg. We're Veterans Growing America, where veterans all over the United States can put their products and or services on our website. And at our Woodbridge location, because the space is so big, it's 5,000 square feet, we're able to support different types of businesses. We're able to support businesses with a product and or a service, and so some of the services that we have is notary, travel. We have realtors. In addition to that, we have some fun stuff going on. So at our Woodbridge location, we do comedy shows once a month. We do networking events. we do line dancing, we do education. Uh, we have a cohort going right now, a mastermind, where we partner with a national bank that will help individuals through the process, and then show them how to, get loans and write contracts and all of that type of stuff. And then we're
Yeah.
also partnering with local organizations and national organizations to be able to educate our community at every level.
Yeah.
We have, the Center for Nonprofit Advancements, those businesses that, those organizations that want to start nonprofits. Now we have a nonprofit organizations that teaches them how to start a nonprofit the right way
Mm-hmm.
in our community.
Yeah.
We had, we have, several banks that are a part of our community. So when you're looking at access to capital, because books cost money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Clothes cost money. All of this stuff costs money. Before you put it on the shelves, you have to invest in this stuff. And
That's
so
right.
we want to make sure that you're investing in the right stuff with the right systems and processes, and are able to use the knowledge that these banks have with dealing with other customers to be able to manage the products and services that you have. We got bookkeepers in our network. We have a ton of individuals in our network that can help people, at any capacity that they are in business.
Yeah. Again, it's like a mini incubator, right? And there are resources out there for us as veterans. And I've attended, several, if you will. But, to truly understand our walk, our talk, and knowing what we need more education on, and being very purposeful and intentional with it. That's what I think is much different than any of the other programs or whatever that are out there. And you're creating something. We talked about this. So before we move on to the next thing that I want us to share with our audience, thank y'all again for being here, because it's just, we're just trying to help one another out in this journey, if you will, either personal or professional, because it all intertwines. And Charlene says, yes, learn from the mistakes others make. Indeed, it's important. And Glenroy says, it's good when people talk about you negatively. At least you know that you're on their minds. Others normally want to see if the negativity is true, which opens up new opportunities to put the negativity to bed.
Hey,
Mhm.
look at it, that's a perspective.
It is a perspective, you know what I mean? So, and Mosaic Sparks says she loves it, diverse businesses, right? Because having the same types of businesses in one space is okay, but to show like all the different, um, just the way that people think, like, hey,
Mhm.
I see this as a need or something that I could help the world with, and be able to showcase that. It's just absolutely, incredible. Thank you, Charlene. Of course, we try to keep this up, with finding very passionate and driven. And the whole main purpose of this talk show was really to create a community where you can just come in here and listen to people who've done that or are doing it, and doing it in such a way where you can be inspired and motivated to do something that you probably have been waiting for your whole life to do. And this is just encouragement. That's all we're trying to do, y'all. So thank you so much for being here, and being with us live. So I wanted to go back to um, a point that you were making, um, with the system, if you will, this community of just interlocking, intertwining, and you got two locations going on right now. What are the challenges right now? Like, this can't all be like, this is amazing, right? Like, this is good stuff, and it is good, but let's just be for real
Mhm.
about what are some things that you're like, whew, I didn't see that. Whew, this is still happening. What is the life like? What's the
Um,
balance?
well, the the one thing that's working to the positive is, my entire family is involved in this.
Yeah, that's true.
And that helps. Some of the things that you don't see, right? In making sure that that location was together.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows that the air conditioning went out
Mm.
and part of the ceiling came down,
Mm.
while we were while we were putting this thing together. And I didn't realize that it was going to take probably 10 coats of paint to, yes. So those white walls,
Yeah.
every time someone, before we moved in there was an art gallery in there and they had pencil marks on the wall.
Oh.
And we put a coat of primer over it, bled through. A coat
Oh.
of paint over it, bled through. I
Oh.
mean, it was insane. Um, Having to be able to get that done because we were supposed to open up a month and a half ago, but we couldn't open up because of those things that happened.
Right.
Um, the same thing happened at our Woodbridge location. The air conditioning went out on a day that we had a networking event during the summer.
Mm-hmm.
You could just see people just sweating like crazy in there. And then when they showed me, I've never seen an AC bill with a comma in it before in my life.
Oh.
I
Oh.
was like, this is a lot of money.
Oh.
Lights and energy cost a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a pop-up that we do every weekend.
Yeah.
I would love to say that there's 100, some plus people come every weekend. That's not the case.
Right.
One weekend, and my wife always says this, the ups and downs of business. Friday and Saturday, we had gangbusters of people coming through. And then one Sunday, I think we had 3 people walk through the door.
Oh.
But
Yeah.
the one thing that I realized is right across the street from me, DSW, Barnes and Noble, the Apple store, they had the same issue that I had.
Ah.
There was nobody in their store either, and they had
Right.
a payroll. They had a payroll 10 times of what my payroll was.
Right. Exactly.
And so I said, well, if Apple and Barnes and Noble and these other organizations go through it, we're going to go through that type of stuff too.
Right.
But at the same time, looking at my vendors and they're like, hey, and I'm like, did you market and advertise to get some people here? I'm sure that Apple did too.
Right.
I'm,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's just, it's like any relationship, there's ups and downs to it. And you got to realize that, when you get into business, it is not a consistent paycheck.
Yeah.
You know,
It's true.
it's not consistent. You got up times, you got down times. I don't know if people know this, but Black Friday, that stands for, that's the businesses go into the black in November. So that means that throughout the entire year, they're losing money. And then when it comes to the holidays, they start making money starting November or the day after Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And so if these Fortune 500 companies go through that, what do you think a small business is going to go through? So those are things that people have to, they have to worry about when it comes to starting business. And then mistakes cost money.
Yes.
And everything. I love when people come to me with ideas. They be like, yeah, you know what, you ought to put this on the outside of your store. And I'm like, in fact, that night, here's a funny story. Our sign in front of our store was up and somebody was like, you should put lights behind that. I was like, I would if you share $5,000 with me, because $5,000
Right. You donating?
get you lights behind the Veterans of America sign. Are you willing to donate $5,000?
Right.
Yeah, please. Thank you for the good idea, but unless you're gonna give me $5,000 for this good idea,
Right. That ain't happening.
ain't no lights coming.
I think that's the kind of like you know what, when people think of a business that you have all this access to monies, right? Like it's I just grows on trees. Like when we were growing up, like you just buy this, and my parents used to say, "This, you know, the money don't grow on trees." Da 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 da. And but when you're in business, people think that you just making business all you making money all the time, you know, and so they don't really understand and you know think about the ways that you can get grants, you
Mhm.
know, or leading into someone who's willing to sponsor, you know, and stuff like that. So I'm just saying, okay, we got these comments to just keep rolling in here. Okay, Charlene. Charlene said that's right. Folks don't talk about the empty store days in business and feed delusions. They
Mhm.
do. Because the notoriety of having a business, right? When you could say I'm a CEO, I'm the founder, they already think that you're making money every day. So I'm just saying
Some
that's
days
not
when
true.
you look at that thing and you paying a person more than the store make, you like, "Oh, man."
Just what you gotta go back to the whys like really quickly. Like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? You know?
Exactly, exactly. They don't know that that book behind you, you gotta pay for it before you sell it.
Yeah, that you do. Like I had to buy my books. So when folks just say, "Oh, you got your books," and they invite you in, just bring your books. I was like, "Oh Lord, I'll bring the books. Where am I gonna get this money from? I'll figure it out."
Mhm.
Glenroy said those were early challenges that allowed you to gain insight on how to deal with the issues when we were talking about the challenges that you had. You now have the bandwidth in this new venture to conquer adverse situations, which is absolutely true. I mean, when
Mhm.
you've been there, done it's so much like what we've been through in our military service. So Glenroy also active duty. Me and him were stationed together when we were at Nellis. I was actually his first sergeant. He was a great airman. Okay, he's a great sergeant. So I ain't talking bad about him at all. But you know, when we when we are in the military, we have to face challenges. You know, they give us stuff to work with, and we're like, how are we gonna do this? And then we
Mhm.
figure out we come up with a solution, whether or not it's the right solution, we come up with something because we were trained to do so, right? Because the mission got to get done.
You gotta get done.
Um, got to get it done. And Chevy says, yes, bring the ideas and the money to execute. I agree. Like, let's talk about that for a second, right?
I love
Um,
ideas. I love them.
yeah, you know. So, okay, you mentioned that your family is involved. And so I'm not going to be remiss if I can't, you know, bring them into the fold for a little bit and just to share with the audience this whole family dynamic and how your wife, she just steps in and she was talking about how she, you know, decorated and outfitted the place. And y'all, it's absolutely amazing. She has such an eye for, you know, how things interior decorating and so forth. And your son, who I've seen, and I don't how old is he now?
25.
25. And he is part of, you know, every time I'm there and have been there, he's there, right? And so having the family to be a part of the business, you know, were they already like, let's just do this? Or was that a gradual progression, if you will, as they seen it take off?
So when we started in 2019, my son was, let me see, he graduated. He was still in college.
Mm-hmm.
He was away in college at the time, so he really wasn't a part of the business. And my wife was an educator at the time. And then we got my son involved in the business. And, my wife was like, well, Donnell should start something, and sell it. And so he was into metaphysical stuff, um, you know, uh, jewelry and all of that. And he finally got in, he came to one of our events when we did his first event was in Florida when we did it at McDeal. And he got the bug. He was like, I love this.
Mm.
And when he got involved, it was good because my son is really smart. And he helps me out. I mean, he has his master's degree in psychology. He,
Ah.
he's done some business psychology stuff. Um, he is, I mean, the boy is super, super smart and intelligent. And then my wife finally got the bug last year and was like, you know what, I love doing this. And she jumped in both feet. You know, we had some issues with some people that we were dealing with and working with. And she was like, hey, I got your back all of the time. I'm going to, be in here. And she is our operations person. She makes, things happen in the background. I get people excited about, the direction that Veterans Growing America is going, and I get them to buy into the idea, and then she helps me execute it and put it together. I got the store, and she was like, okay, she got the people in the store, she got, the store set up the way it should be, and she created the processes to bring entrepreneurs into, Veterans Growing America. And
Yeah.
so, as a family, we're doing this. Uh, is it challenging? Absolutely,
I'm sure.
because we're all, every time you feel like you got it,
Yeah.
there's something else that you need to learn and grow. And so
Mhm.
being an entrepreneur is always being uncomfortable. But, with my family that has my back, I'm like, okay, we use each other's strengths to be able to support in our success.
Yeah.
So we play certain roles. At first, I was playing every role, and then
Right.
it was like, "Nah, you're not good at that. Let's hire somebody to do this. Nah, you're not good at that. Let's hire somebody to do this part.
Right.
This is the part that I like doing. My son is good at this. He does that." And so she started dictating and delegating who does what.
Yeah.
And now, as a family, we're also the example to other families.
Yes.
If you go into Veterans Growing America, any weekend, our vendors bring their family in there with them,
Hmm.
and I welcome that, because these kids, they need to see that entrepreneurship is a way of freedom,
Yeah.
is a way that you can, create wealth within your family for generations to come. And so I want our kids, my dad was a bus driver, and his dad's dad was a bus driver.
Mm.
I wanted to break that, cycle. I don't want to be a bus driver.
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
And then when I was in the military, I was a recruiter. And so I'm like, recruiting, if I could sell the military, right, I can
Yeah.
sell anything, you
Yeah.
know? And so I use the skills that I learned and the processes and the systems that I learned about sales, and I just translate them into business.
Yeah.
And that family dynamic with us all working together, um, I know that I have somebody, right next to me that I trust, and then I can bounce some ideas off of and be like, okay, should we do this? And me and my wife are totally opposites. you know
Yeah. I know.
i'm very, I'm very outgoing, and my wife is reserved. you know
Yeah.
she
Mhm.
analyzes situations, and she makes sure that she's watching people as I'm talking to them, because I love people. Like I
Yeah.
said, I'm a people person. And she's like, all right, we want these people a part of our program.
Right.
And it's really good, because we love being around each other and we have a good time. So I love really, having my family a part of what I'm doing.
Yeah. I think it's such a beautiful thing to see, because sometimes family doesn't quite understand an entrepreneur.
Mhm.
And I also like when you share that you broke the cycle, right? Because your dad was a bus driver, your grandfather was a bus driver, and my dad was also a recruiter. And you know what he did? He also was an entrepreneur. And
Mm.
so he used his sales tactics, if you will, that he used while he was a recruiter, to become successful as, entrepreneur flipping houses, lawn care service. And he made good money doing that. And he absolutely loved helping others, in so many different ways, but he could sell anything. I'm like, ooh, Lord Jesus. Okay, so Lindsay, thank you so much for being here. And she's saying it's great to have the family support. It is. And DC was on the show a couple of episodes ago, and he is a Marine veteran. And he says, in life, it's the challenges that prepares us, and offers insight on being successful in our business. Absolutely. And Glenroy, as he does, showing up as always with these comments. I just absolutely love these. Having your family be a part of what you have built and are continuing to build is how you build an empire. When our spouses come alongside us and are supportive in any way for the advancement of the empire is a blessing. It sounds like you wear your crown and stretch your scepter accordingly. That's what I call kingdom building.
Hey, you understand? Hey, Glenroy, you understand? You understand, boss?
Yeah, he understands. He understands. He's like, I'm here for it. You know what I mean? Because it's true. We were talking about generational wealth. Like everybody has to understand what generational wealth means.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're all supporting, we're all helping. All right. It's not just, the one person and then the next generation having to struggle and, all this other stuff because we didn't kind of follow through what we were trying to do. So I absolutely love it too, because it's the warm, it's familiar, you know what I mean? People know that they can feel safe, that they bring their children into the space and allow them to be free-minded. It's a beautiful thing, y'all. So if you have not visited these locations, okay, one is in Woodbridge, Virginia. All right, and it's in a stone bridge. It's not an outlet, it's a
shopping center.
Shopping center, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Clarksburg, Maryland Premium Outlets is the other place. Second floor. You got to go upstairs because I was trying to find. I was like, Donnell, where are you at? It's on the second floor, y'all. All right, by Old Navy. So if you ever are in those two locations, make sure you go and visit Veterans Growing America. Okay, while you're in there. And one of them will be,
I said what she said.
Right. You know what I mean? Because we definitely need the support from our communities and get the word out. Just share with them, hey, they're shopping there. Make sure they go and they shop there too. So we're at the top of the hour. As I always know, that these things go fast for us, especially when we're in deep conversation. So what are your kind of last words, if you will, before I ask you our last question, would you offer our audience?
My last words is believe in yourself.
Mm.
And then surround yourself with those that believe in you. Your wild ideas can come true. If you don't believe it, look outside one day. Look at a big old plane flying in the air. If a big piece of metal can fly in the air, you can make whatever your dreams and your thoughts come true. You have to work at it on a daily basis. Don't give up, and stay away from dream killers.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, first of all, y'all, you can't just leave it there. I'm just like, first of all, believe in yourself. Like that could be hard for some of us to do. But if you have ever been in a role where you just kind of thrown in and you've really created something new, you don't even just necessarily have to be in the military. This is just for anybody, right? If you don't understand you and what you're able to do and all the amazing things that you have done, and realize that all the other things that you could be potentially doing, you need to come see about us. Okay. We will set you straight. We'll let you know, hey, because we're living proof that if you just have a vision about something that other people are not seeing, and that people like these dream killers, you just said dream killers. I'm like, oh.
I stay away from dream killers.
Oh.
Here's what I do is when I bring up something to somebody and they tell me how I can't do it, I just know that that's the wrong person to be talking to. I'm like, hey, so I got this great idea. We should be able to do X, Y, and Z. And they'd be like, nah, my uncle did that and he wasn't able to do that. Like, nah, I don't know your uncle, but your uncle don't know me.
That's so true. And I always like kind of look at folks and I'm like, you don't even know what you don't
Right.
even want to begin to understand what I'm doing, right? And then you're just bringing up stuff that make me feel like I should just stop what I'm doing and go about my business doing something else. But it's in your spirit, right? It's a
Mhm.
calling. And if you know what that is and you still have that urge, you should just try. That's what I recommend. Just try. You will blow your mind. Like you said, you blowing your mind right now on what is happening from just a thought, an idea.
Who would have known that I would have had a store that a good 2 stores, right? I would have never my family was like, "How are you doing that?" I don't know how I'm doing this, right? All I'm doing is I'm following my passion
Mm,
to be able to support military connected entrepreneurs. And through this, it created an opportunity for us to showcase them in 2 prominent locations.
mm,
2 prominent locations. My first store is next to DSW.
mhm,
Next to DSW. That's purpose. That's not
mhm,
me. That's God.
mhm.
That's
That's
God.
right.
All you got to do is follow your passion, and God will put the right people in your place to help you get there. I saw KC was on here.
Yeah.
He is helping us right now with the Skill Bridge program out of the
Mhm.
blue. I said one day, I'm like, we need help with getting being a part of the Skill Bridge program.
Yeah.
God brought that brother in my life to be able to support what we're doing. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is what I'm doing right now. I put my faith in God because I know I don't have all the answers because I've never been where I'm going right now.
That's right.
I've never been there. But guess what? I continue to put my vision out there, and there's somebody out there that has the access
Mhm.
to be able to open the doors for us.
Mhm.
3 stores they wanted me to open. 3. I'm
And
like,
these were, and the third store was like what, Leesburg?
they said 3 locations: Pentagon City,
Yeah.
Leesburg, and Clarksburg. That's how much they believed in the vision of what we're doing. The next step is we have to get our military connected entrepreneurs to believe in themselves enough to follow their passion, and we'll provide a space for that where we can
Mhm.
grow together. And that's what Veterans Growing America is all about. When a person comes to me with an idea, I go, okay, how can we make that happen? We got a comedy show.
Yeah.
I'm not funny. My wife thinks I'm funny, though. But we got a comedy show. I have a comedy show in my store once a month, right?
Yeah.
It's blowing my mind. Last event, we had standing room only for our comedy show.
Mhm.
People I'd never met before.
It's community, Donnell. You know what I mean? When you create something where people can come and just be, especially as a veteran, when you feel like everyone is kind of staggered and scattered around, when you have one event and location. Now, it's a hike for me. Now, I'm hiking up there when I come to see you because that's like an
Yeah.
hour and 15, 20-minute drive. Okay. So, but when you're in an area where you can provide that space and be safe and familiar, and people are like, yeah, like this is definitely some place where I want to hang out. And it ain't got no shenanigans happening in there.
Mhm.
Okay. It ain't got a bunch of people in there just doing all kinds of craziness. It's good, wholesome fun. And the community is, everything, especially for, veterans. That because that's what we have done for our careers, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so I've got comments. First of all, Tanya, thank you so much, Queen, for being here.
That's one of our
Um,
members right there, Tanya. Yep.
Yeah, so she said turn pain into purpose. She given the flames, of course. And then Chevy says, yes, don't kill my vibe because you are operating in a small mind. And yes, we can't collude with those folks, right? And then Glenroy said, he said, preach. God is a master planner. He
Amen.
will align what needs to be aligned don't know the way we don't know needs to be aligned. Speak my language on this Sunday evening. So, you know, it's all divinely, orchestrated, if you will. Community matters. It certainly does. She says, I come from Texas and I'm changed every time.
She flies out from Texas to be a part of our events.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
She's also in our mastermind. She she does prosthetic wigs for those that have challenges.
Yeah.
And so it's just having the cool thing that I like about Tanya is she's riding on purpose, but she's inspiring and helping people at the same time. And these are the type of people that I like to be around, that
Yeah.
want to give back to their community and provide a service in a way that is helping others.
Yeah. That is like this alone, her showing up and saying that, it gives people a more of a perspective of what Veterans Growing America is about. You know what I mean? So, Glenroy's even saying that's what you call a supportive supporter by any means necessary. Kudos to the Texas sister. That's what I'm talking about. Like, ride or die. I'm out there, right? And that's like a reflection of what you have created. So I'm proud of you. I'm proud to know you. You know what I mean?
Likewise.
And to
Likewise.
see you and just be like, I'm the Air Force kind of gal. You're the Army, guy. And just knowing the military community and the way that we are stepping out in this next chapter and really having a path or a way for people to see how they too can do the same thing. And so it's so good to have you here on the show. My last question for you, though, is what do you want your family and friends to say about you on your 80th birthday?
Wow. I want them to say that I always showed up for them
Mm,
and I gave them the best me.
mm,
That's what I want them to say. It's like my grandmother said, people should always be able to be able to count on you in a way um, when they need you. And so I just want to be there when not only people need me, but I'm there when sometimes when they need to hear the truth.
mm-hmm.
Um, and sometimes the truth hurts, but if it's delivered the right way, it'll get you out of your funk.
Yeah, I agree. And one of the things that I notice that you do very well is you're very present in the moment. When even when the event was happening and there was so many moving parts, and I've seen this prior to when I came, when all the chaos is going on, you're very present and you're there with the person that is actually speaking to you. And that is a skill that not everyone can hone into, because when there's chaos and confusion and going on, sometimes we carry on with whatever that is and don't really focus in on the person that's in front of you. So I want to share that with you, even though it's not your 80th birthday party just yet, that you can literally, just be there and not having this whole mindset of I'm out here somewhere in la la land, right? Because as a business owner and with the big operation, you can do that. Um, so I know like the third, fourth, fifth stores all across Veterans Growing America is going to have this expansion, y'all. So just get ready. Like, I'm ready for the journey. I just want to see all these things kind of unfold for you, because God is in control and he does have a calling on your life. And for whatever it is for you to do, I know you're going to do it with very much, the grit, tenacity, and determination that you need to get there. So y'all, thank y'all for showing up here live. Okay, first of all, these our audience members, they just come. They like, we're here for it. Chevy, Keith, Mosaic Sparks, Charlene, Kim, Glenroy, Tanya. Thank y'all, Donald, Lindsay. Lots of comments of being here live with us. And so here we got a question. How do we reach the shops online?
So that's coming soon. Within the next 2 weeks, they'll be on our website. So follow our website, veteransgrowingamerica.com. And within the next couple of weeks, you'll be able to see the shops. In fact, on Tuesday, we're having a website party where all of the vendors are going to be up there updating their shops, because on Wednesday, I'm going to be on a SBA webinar, which will be broadcast out through, all 54 states and territories, where they're going to be talking about shopping with veteran entrepreneurs, and Veterans Growing America is going to be put out there. So I want to make sure that when people hit our page, they're able to shop with our entrepreneurs. But follow us on all social media platforms, Veterans Growing America. Come out and support the things that we do. I know, if Tanya can make it out from Texas, you can make it out an hour away or 30 minutes away, or sometimes even 5 minutes away. Show up for those that showed up for you. For those of you that have not served, Veterans Growing America is a place for you too. That's why we have the doors open every day. And we will be at a store near you throughout the United States soon.
Yeah. Look, Glenroy said he gonna share all the vets in the DMV.
That's what I'm talking about.
Spend that money.
Hey, as we say at Veterans Growing America, shop, baby.
Shop, baby. Get your wallets out, y'all. Okay.
The holidays are coming.
They are coming. And look, I already scanned codes. I already gonna send the links to my husband, because I was like, here are the things that I saw in the store that I really want already. So I got my list, y'all. You can get a list real quick going in them stores. She says that's a CSM skill when I was talking about, being present in the moment. And then of course she said, great show. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Great time. And Charlene says, okay, website party. So she's here for it.
Let's grow. Let's grow.
So thank you so much, Donnell. I know you're busy and you got a lot of things going on. Say hello to the family. I wish them all the best as you continue on. Chevy says great conversation. So y'all, we'll be back.
My son just walked in the room.
Oh yeah. Come on in here, Donnell. Hey,
that's the other Donnell.
What's going on? Right? You got the t-shirt on and everything. Look at it. The son is like, I'm here for this all day.
I should have had him on he's my hype man. He runs all the shows. He's amazing.
Look, Donnell, you want a couple of minutes in here? You want to share anything that you got going on that you want the people to know?
So I have a brand. It's called Third Conscience. It's a spiritual streetwear brand designed to bridge the gap between fashion and spirituality. But I am working on a new clothing drop. It is coming very, very soon. I sold out of tickets to my fashion show, which will be on 1/11, January 11th, right at our Veterans Growing America Woodbridge location. And the line is called, yeah, the line is called Healed People, Healed People. So I got shirts, hats, and sweatsuits. So come on by and check us out.
Y'all.
And you can get your tickets at Veterans Growing America. So come by on the weekend. I just restocked. I got 20 more. I got the shirts in black, gray, and purple.
Show them the shirt that you got on.
And then this is shout out to Alpha 6 Battalion, one of our permanent vendors at our Clarksburg location. Made us some promote shirts.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's got some really nice t-shirts too. What's his name? Jonathan?
Yeah, Jonathan.
Again, yeah, I scanned the code because I was like, this is stuff that my son would be wearing. Okay, so we're gonna have to see about getting a few t-shirts there. But you know, y'all are just doing a dang thing. That's all I'm gonna say. So I'm here for it. Our audience is here for it. Thank y'all for being here. Thank you, Donnell, again for your time. She said, when is the fashion show?
111.
111, January 11th.
January 11th. He said it's sold out, Tanya. But Tanya probably can get a ticket, I'm sure.
Yeah. You in there. We got you.
Yeah, right.
Hey, yeah. Rochelle, I just want to thank you for sharing your audience with us and allowing us to, tell the Veterans Growing America story, which you're a part of. We met initially at our Veteran Business Expo at Fort Meade. And then from there, I mean, you've been riding with us from 1 million cups, till today. And I just want to thank you for having us on the show. So I appreciate you.
Yeah, I've been wanting you all to be on the show for a minute, but I know like how the queue is and how many, iterations. But I think when, we stopped and said, hey, you're like, let's figure out a way to collaborate here on these podcasts. I was like, guess what? I got an opening this weekend. So let's go. All right. So
anytime you have an opening week, I have something to talk about.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm saying. Like, we're gonna make this thing happen. So y'all, thank you so much for being with us and for your time. Make sure you come back, okay, next Sunday, because I got another guest. That's what we do here, and we continue having this conversation. So it's always a continuing conversation, okay, with other entrepreneurs, whether they're military or not military, just to give you a highlight on the men and women that are making positive impact using the slay philosophies. So keep on slaying, okay, until you can't slay no more. And I will see you all very soon. Good night, y'all. Have an amazing week.